Changdeokgung Palace. The Changdeokgung Palace here was built in 1405 by the third king of the Joseon dynasty. The Joseon dynasty is the last dynasty before the establishment of the Republic of Korea, and it lasted about 500 years, including the period of the Korean Empire. And to continue conducting national affairs without any instructions from crisis like war or natural disaster, Joseon dynasty operated two palace systems. The Changdeokgung Palace here was established as a secondary palace, the backup palace, to support its administrative structure. However, all the palaces in Seoul, including this one, were burned down during the Japanese invasion in 1592. And then this palace was rebuilt in 1610, but this time as the primary palace. And for 270 years, Changdeokgung Palace served 13 kings, including the last king of Joseon era and the royal family. And the Secret Garden, the garden where you will visit soon, is famous for its harmony between the buildings and nature. So therefore, this palace was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997. So for today, you are going to see four areas in the Secret Garden, and only the first area has a restroom. So at the first area, we will take about 5-minute break and then move on to the other areas. And today, heatwave warning has been issued. So for the future safety, the tour route has been shortened, so it will take about an hour. But don't worry, even though the tour route has been shortened, you will see all the areas in the Secret Garden. So yes, and then we will come back to the Secret Garden entrance after the tour. And lastly, we are only offering a guided tour for the Secret Garden, so we have to move all together, which means that you cannot go to the other areas before the guide. I kindly ask for cooperation for this. Okay, then let's get into the garden, so please come this way.
And in Korea, do it the Korean too. Beautiful.
So since the weather is really hot today, you can get under the shade if you want. Just please get under the shade. It's really hot. Alright, so now we are at the first area of the secret garden, and this area is called Buyongji area. But before I explain this area, let me tell out the names of the garden here. So currently, we are calling this garden as secret garden, but there were many other names too. So at first, the garden was named rear garden, the back garden, because it was located on the back side of the palace. And also it was named North Garden, since the garden was located on the north side of the palace. And then no one except the royal family could enter this garden here. So there was a name called Forbidden Garden. And later, an office which managed this place was established in 1903. As the office name was the Secret Office, people started calling this garden as Secret Garden. And secret garden is a part of this surrounding forest. Maximizing the natural beauty by using the lay of the hill is the biggest characteristic of the secret garden. So the total area of this palace is about 135 acres, including this back garden area. But if you consider just for the secret garden, then this place occupies approximately 86 acres. And in this spacious garden area, there are some ponds, pavilions, studies, and a royal library. So now let me talk about this area here. So again, we are at Buyongji area, and the name of this area, Buyongji, is actually the name of the pond in front of you. So let's check the pond first. In the past, there was a belief that the sky was round and the earth was rectangular. And the pond in this area was made based on this belief. So the rectangular pond represents the earth, while the round island in the middle, the small circular island in the center of the pond, signifies the sky. And if you look at on the left side, there's a pavilion, and that pavilion is called Buyongjeong. In Korean, Buyong means lotus flowers in full bloom, and Jeong means a pavilion. Along the pavilion, Buyongjeong, that one, has a cross-shaped roof, with the rooms stretching out in 4 directions. And according to the records of Joseon Dynasty, it says that the 22nd king would enjoy fishing from the pavilion with the official. And as for this king, the 22nd king, not just enjoyed having a leisure time, but he also placed a high value on studying and learning. So when this king, the 22nd king, visited this area with officials, he played a game which was composing the poems within a limited time. If the official failed to do that, then the king gave him some kind of punishment. And can you guess what kind of punishment it would be? So that playing the game with the official were held at this area. So the punishment is kind of related with the pond and the island. Throwing to the pond. I guess that would be not a punishment in summer like this in the hot weather today. So the answer is the king sent the official who failed to make the pond in time to the small island over there and put him for several hours as a punishment. In that island, there's nothing inside, so the official had to stay there doing nothing for 2 or 3 hours in this hot weather and a cold weather. That was the punishment. Okay, so now let's look at the 2-3 building on the hill over there. So the ground floor was the royal library, and the second floor was the reading room. The building was built in 1776 during the 22nd King Changdeokgung reign. So at first, it was just a royal library, but developed into an academic institution. And later, that place even had the function of publishing books. And currently, the collection of books are preserved at Seoul National University, one of the top universities in Korea. And then lastly, let's look at the building on your right side. So for this building, it was a resting area for the royal family. So the royal family enjoyed watching the scenery of this area by sitting inside the building over there. And moreover, that's the oldest one in this area too. So there is a record saying that this building was renovated in 1692, which means that it was built before that. And once there was a spacious yard in front of the building. So the yard is the thing on the right side where some benches are placed. Big events were conducted on the yard on special occasions such as the birth of a prince. And this kind of event was held in the presence of the king.